The spaceship flew through the dark sky of the alien world. Inside, the human soldiers sat quietly. Their faces were calm, but serious. They had traveled far from Earth. Their mission was simple: to serve the alien queen who ruled this distant planet. But they did not know what awaited them. The alien planet was strange and wild. Tall trees with glowing leaves grew everywhere. Strange creatures moved in the shadows. The air smelled different. The humans felt small and alone in this new world. Yet, they were ready. They were trained to face any danger. When the ship landed, the humans stepped out. Their armor shone under the alien sun. Their weapons were ready. They looked strong and brave, but they knew this was only the beginning. Waiting for them was the alien queen. She stood tall on a high platform. Her skin was blue, and her eyes shone like stars. She wore a crown made of shining crystals. Around her, many alien soldiers stood in perfect rows. The queen's face was cold. Her eyes looked down on the humans with clear dislike. "Humans," she said, her voice cold and strong. "You come to my planet as servants. You will obey my orders without question. You are weak, unworthy, and only useful as tools." The human commander, Captain Mark, stepped forward. He looked at the queen without fear. "We are here to serve and protect your majesty. We will do our duty." The queen laughed, a sound that was sharp like metal hitting stone. "You will fail," she said. "Your kind is soft. You do not belong here." Mark kept his calm. He knew the queen's words were meant to break his spirit, but he had learned to stand firm. "We will show you our strength," he said. The queen turned away. "Take them to the barracks," she ordered her soldiers. "Let them live in our world. But remember, they are beneath us." The humans were led to their new home. The barracks were old and small compared to their ships. The walls were made of strange stone, cold and rough. The air smelled strange. The humans looked at each other but said nothing. They were tired but ready. Over the next days, the queen watched them with eyes full of doubt. She sent her spies to watch the humans. She expected to see fear and weakness. But what she saw was different. The humans trained every day. They helped each other. They spoke quietly but with strong voices. They did not complain. They did not beg for mercy. Instead, they worked hard and prepared. The queen grew more angry. She sent her best soldiers to test the humans. The aliens wanted to see if the humans would break under pressure. One morning, a group of aliens attacked the humans' training ground. The humans fought back with skill and courage. Though the aliens were stronger and larger, the humans used their teamwork and tactics well. They did not win the fight, but they did not run either. The queen heard about this. She frowned. "These humans are not what I thought," she said. "They have spirit, but spirit is not enough." She decided to meet with Captain Mark herself. In a large hall full of light, the queen faced the humans. "You think you can survive here," she said, "but this world is dangerous. You will fail. You will die," Mark answered calmly. "We do not fear danger. We face it with honor." The queen laughed again, but this time it was less sharp. "Honor is for weaklings. Power is what matters." Mark looked at her and said, "True power comes from courage and loyalty, not from cruelty." The queen paused. No one had ever spoken to her like this before. Suddenly, alarms sounded. The queen's soldiers rushed to their stations. Strange creatures had been spotted near the city. The humans quickly joined the defense. They stood beside the aliens, ready to fight. The creatures were fierce and strange. They had many legs and sharp teeth. They attacked without warning. The queen watched as her soldiers fought hard but struggled. The humans moved with speed and skill. They covered the weak points in the line. They rescued wounded soldiers. Slowly, the creatures were pushed back. After the battle, the Queen looked at the humans in a new way. She did not say anything yet, but her cold eyes softened a little. Captain. Mark stood tall, his armor scratched, but his spirit strong. He looked at the Queen and said, "We will protect this world, not because we are forced, but because it is right." The Queen said nothing, but inside, she began to change. She had thought the humans weak and foolish, but now she saw that they were strong and brave. The story had just begun. The Queen's contempt had not disappeared, but a new feeling started to grow. Curiosity. After the fierce battle against the strange creatures, the alien Queen's attitude began to shift, but only slightly. Deep inside, she still looked down on the humans. She thought their strength was only luck or simple chance. Yet, the Queen could not deny that these humans showed something unusual, an unbreakable will. Captain Mark and his soldiers returned to their barracks. Their faces were tired, but their eyes held a quiet fire. They knew this was just the beginning of many challenges. The planet was wild and full of dangers, but they had a mission to protect it and to prove themselves worthy. Every day, the humans trained harder. Their bodies became stronger, their minds sharper. They practiced teamwork and learned to use the alien weapons left by the Queen's soldiers. Though the weapons were strange, the humans adapted quickly. One soldier, Private Sarah, was small but fast. She learned the alien weapons' ways faster than many. Her quick hands and sharp mind made her an expert. The Queen's soldiers noticed her skill and whispered about the surprising humans. The Queen's advisors warned her. "These humans are not like others. They do not fear us. They do not obey easily. Their strength is in their unity. We should be careful." The Queen waved their worries away. "They are still weak. Their bodies are soft. They will break." But inside, she watched the humans with growing interest. She saw them work together, always helping each other. Even when some soldiers were hurt, others carried them without complaints. The Queen saw how humans talked quietly and shared stories of Earth, their home planet far away. One day, the Queen sent a challenge. She ordered Captain Mark to lead his men into the wild forest to hunt dangerous creatures. This was a test, a way to see if the humans would fail in the wild and return broken. Mark accepted the order without fear. "We will complete this mission," he said firmly. "We do not run from danger." The forest was dark and thick with tall trees. Strange sounds echoed all around. The humans moved carefully, weapons ready. They knew the Queen was watching. Suddenly, from the shadows, giant beasts appeared. These beasts were large, with thick scales and sharp claws. They roared loudly and charged at the humans. The soldiers quickly formed a circle, protecting each other. Sarah aimed carefully and fired. Other soldiers used their weapons to block and attack. Though the beasts were powerful, the humans fought with skill and heart. Captain Mark shouted orders, "Hold the line! Protect each other! Don't give up!" The battle was long and hard. Many soldiers were scratched and bruised, but the humans did not break. They moved as one, each soldier watching the other's back. When the last beast fell, the humans stood strong but tired. They had won the Queen's test. Back at the city, the Queen waited impatiently. When the soldiers returned, she looked at them with a new respect. She said, "You survive, but barely. You are still weak." Mark bowed his head slightly but answered, "We survive because we stand together. That is our strength." The Queen's cold expression did not change, but her eyes were different now. She saw something she had never seen before: courage, loyalty, and hope in the humans. Over the next weeks, the humans continued their missions. They explored the dangerous planet, fought wild creatures, and helped the Queen's people in small battles. Each time they showed courage and skill. The Queen's soldiers, who once mocked the humans, began to whisper their names with respect. The Queen noticed this change and felt something strange, a little fear. What if these humans were stronger than she thought? What if they were not? Just simple soldiers, but something more? One night, Captain Mark sat with his soldiers around a fire. He told stories of Earth, of mountains, oceans, and stars. The humans listened quietly, feeling far from home but united by their shared mission. Private Sarah looked at the fire and said softly, "We must show the Queen that we are more than just soldiers. We are a family here." Mark nodded. "Yes, Sarah, we will earn her respect, not by words, but by our actions." The Queen watched from her tower. She saw the firelight in the distance and wondered about these humans. Their spirit was strong, stronger than many alien species she had met. She did not understand it, but she knew one thing. The humans were changing her world. Meanwhile, the Queen's advisors grew nervous. "Your Majesty, the humans might become a threat. We should keep a closer watch." The Queen replied, "Watch them, yes, but do not underestimate them. They have something we do not, hope and heart." A few days later, an alarm sounded. Another threat had appeared. A group of alien raiders from a nearby star system attacked a small village loyal to the Queen. The Queen called her generals. "Defend the village at all costs." The humans volunteered again. They asked to lead the defense. The Queen was surprised but agreed, curious to see how they would fight this time. The battle was fierce. The raiders were skilled and well-armed. The Queen's soldiers fought bravely but struggled to hold the line. The humans moved through the battlefield like a storm. They protected the villagers and pushed back the raiders. Their courage and quick thinking saved many lives. At the end of the battle, the raiders fled. The village was safe. The Queen stood on her balcony, watching the battlefield. She saw the humans helping her people, not for reward, but because they believed in their mission. For the first time, she felt respect for the human soldiers, not just for their strength, but for their hearts. She whispered to herself, "They are not weak. They are different. Maybe they are what this world needs." Captain Mark returned to the Queen and said, "We fight for peace, Your Majesty. We fight for all who live here." The Queen nodded slowly. "We will see if your words are true." The Queen's pride was strong, but a new feeling was growing inside her, the beginning of respect. The sun rose slowly over the alien planet. The sky was painted with soft colors, but the peace was only temporary. Far beyond the horizon, a dark shadow moved. A fleet of ships from a rival alien faction was approaching. They came to conquer the Queen's world. The alien Queen stood on her throne, watching the incoming fleet on her holographic screen. Her face was serious. This was the greatest threat she had faced since humans arrived. Her own soldiers looked worried, and some whispered doubts about their chances to win. The Queen's voice was sharp. "Prepare all defenses. We will not give up this planet." Captain Mark and his human soldiers heard the news. They gathered in the command room, ready for orders. Mark looked at his men with calm eyes. "This is our moment. We fight not just for the Queen, but for this world and its people." The humans and aliens worked side by side. They repaired weapons, set traps, and trained harder than ever. Still, many aliens doubted the humans' ability to help. The Queen's cold words from the past echoed in their minds. When the enemy fleet arrived, they were powerful. Their ships were huge and armed with deadly weapons. They dropped their soldiers onto the planet in waves. The Queen's forces faced the enemy with bravery, but struggled against the superior numbers. Captain Mark saw the enemy forces pushing forward. He raised his voice. "We cannot hold like this. We need to strike at their command ship. If we destroy it, The enemy will lose control. The Queen listened from her war room. She did not believe humans could succeed, but she allowed Mark to try. "Very well, Captain. Lead your men." Mark planned carefully. He divided his soldiers into small teams. They would sneak through the enemy lines and reach the command ship. The Queen's own elite forces would support them. At night, under the cover of darkness, the human teams moved silently through the enemy camp. They used their training and technology to avoid detection. Sarah led one team, using her speed and knowledge of the terrain to guide them. The journey was dangerous. Enemy patrols searched for them. Strange creatures watched from the shadows. But the humans kept moving forward, never losing hope. At last, they reached the enemy command ship. It was larger than any ship Mark had seen before. The humans prepared, their explosives and weapons. Suddenly, alarms blared. The enemy had detected them. A fierce battle began. The humans fought with everything they had. They used clever tactics and courage to push past the enemy guards. Sarah's team planted explosives near the ship's power core. Mark's team held the enemy back, buying time. The Queen watched nervously from her war room. The humans were risking everything. The explosives detonated. A bright explosion shook the sky. The enemy command ship started to fall. Confused and leaderless, the enemy forces began to retreat. The Queen allowed herself a small smile. For the first time, she saw the humans not as weak tools, but as strong warriors. Back on the battlefield, Mark and his men returned victorious. The Queen greeted them with a nod. "You have done well," Mark replied humbly. "We fight for this world, Your Majesty." The Queen was silent for a moment. Then she said, "Perhaps your kind is more than I thought. But even with this victory," the Queen's pride remained. She wanted proof of human honor and strength. She decided to test them further. One day she called Captain Mark to her throne room. "If you want respect, show me your courage in a way I understand." Mark looked at her and asked, "What do you want?" The Queen's eyes were sharp. "A duel, one-on-one, you and me." Mark was surprised. "A duel? But Your Majesty, I am a soldier, not a warrior like you." The Queen smiled coldly. "You fight for your people. I fight for mine. Prove your honor in battle." Mark thought carefully. Refusing would show fear. Accepting was dangerous. But he knew this was a chance to earn true respect. "I accept," he said. The Queen prepared the arena. It was a large ring made of stone, surrounded by her guards and advisors. The air was tense. When the duel began, the Queen moved with speed and power. She attacked with skill honed by years of battle. Mark dodged and blocked, using his training and quick thinking. The fight was long and hard. Neither fighter gave up. Mark used his intelligence to anticipate her moves. The Queen respected his courage. In the end, the duel was a draw. Both stood tired but proud. The Queen nodded. "You are stronger than I believed." Mark bowed. "And you are wiser than I imagined." From that moment, something changed. The Queen no longer saw Mark as just a human soldier. She saw him as an equal. The humans and aliens began to work more closely. The Queen's cold wall of contempt slowly cracked. Together, they prepared for the challenges ahead. The galaxy was full of dangers, but united, they had a chance to face them all. The days after the duel were tense, yet different. The alien Queen, once cold and distant, now looked at Captain Mark with a mix of curiosity and respect. But inside, her pride still fought with her growing admiration. She was not ready to fully accept the humans as equals. To her, respect had to be earned again and again. One morning, the Queen called Mark to her throne room. The hall was large and decorated with shining crystals. Many of her advisors waited silently. The Queen's face was serious. "Captain Mark," she said, "your people have shown strength and courage, but strength alone does not make a true warrior. I challenge you again. This time, not a duel with weapons. A test of honor and skill." Mark stood firm. "I am ready, Your Majesty. Tell me what I must do." The Queen smiled faintly. "You will lead a mission into the Forbidden Zone. It is a place full of danger, where no one dares to go. If you succeed, you will prove your worth." The Forbidden Zone was a wild land beyond the Queen's city. It was said to be filled with deadly creatures, strange plants, and ancient ruins. Many who entered never returned. Mark accepted without hesitation. "We will prepare and leave at once." Back at the barracks, the humans gathered. Some were nervous, but all were determined. Private Sarah, with her quick mind and sharp skills, volunteered to lead one of the teams. The soldiers packed their weapons, food, and tools. They knew this mission was more than just survival. It was their chance to prove themselves. The Queen's soldiers also joined the expedition. They were proud warriors who believed the humans would fail. They watched the humans with suspicion and little hope. When the group entered the Forbidden Zone, the air changed. It became colder, the light dimmer. Strange sounds echoed from deep within the forest. The ground was rough and covered with strange plants that seemed to move. The humans moved carefully, helping each other through the thick trees. Mark led the way, always alert. Sarah and her team scouted ahead, using their speed to check for danger. Suddenly, a huge creature appeared. It had many legs and sharp claws. It roared loudly and charged. The humans quickly formed a circle. They fired their weapons and used their training to fight the beast. The alien soldiers joined the fight, surprised by the humans' bravery. After a long struggle, the creature fell. The group moved deeper into the Forbidden Zone. As they traveled, they found signs of an ancient alien civilization. Broken statues, strange symbols on the walls, and old machines covered with vines. The Queen had never sent anyone here because of the danger. Mark decided to explore carefully. The humans worked together to understand the symbols. Sarah's team found a hidden passage leading underground. The group entered the dark tunnel. Inside, they found a chamber filled with glowing crystals and a strange machine. The machine seemed broken but powerful. Mark studied the device. This could be important. It might help the Queen protect her world. Suddenly, the tunnel shook. Rocks fell from above. The group hurried to escape. Outside, the Queen's soldiers looked worried. "This place is cursed," one said. Mark replied. "It is dangerous, but we cannot leave without answers." The group returned to the city with the crystals and the machine parts. The Queen examined their findings. Her face showed surprise and respect. "You have done what none dared to do," she said. "You have proven your skill and honor." Mark bowed. "We fight for your world, Your Majesty." The Queen nodded slowly. "Your people are not what I believed. You are brave, loyal, and strong." That night, the Queen thought deeply. The humans had changed her view. She began to see them as more than just servants. Meanwhile, the humans felt proud, but knew their work was not over. They had gained respect, but the galaxy was full of new dangers. Mark gathered his soldiers. "This is only the beginning. We must stay ready." Sarah smiled. "We will show the Queen and the galaxy what humans can do." The Queen's challenge had brought them closer. But a greater test was coming, one that would change everything. The victory in the Forbidden Zone was a turning point. The alien Queen's cold eyes had softened a little. She no longer saw the humans as mere tools or weak creatures. But respect was not yet full. It was like a seed just planted, fragile, but ready to grow. The humans continued their duties with honor and courage. They worked alongside the Queen's soldiers to defend the planet from many dangers. Wild creatures still roamed the lands, and rival alien factions watched from afar. The humans proved time and again they were ready to fight and protect. One day, a message arrived from a distant star system. It was a call for help from an allied planet under attack by a large enemy force. The Queen called her council to discuss the threat. "We cannot face this alone," she said. "We need strong allies." Captain Mark and his soldiers listened carefully. Mark stood and spoke with calm confidence. "We will lead a force to help our allies. Together, we can stop the enemy." The Queen studied Mark. She saw his determination and the trust his men had in him. She nodded slowly. "Very well. You will lead this mission." The humans prepared quickly. They trained, repaired weapons, and made plans. The Queen's soldiers joined the effort, now more willing to fight alongside the humans. As the fleet moved through space, the humans and aliens worked side by side. They shared stories, strategies, and hopes for victory. For many, this was the first time they truly saw humans as equals. When they reached the Allied planet, the battle was already underway. The enemy forces were strong and well-armed. The Queen's soldiers fought bravely, but the humans' presence inspired new hope. Mark took command of the defense. He used his experience and tactics to organize the troops. Sarah led a special team that rescued trapped civilians and defended important positions. The battle was fierce and long. Explosions lit the sky, and the ground shook with the clash of weapons. The humans fought with courage and skill. They protected their allies and pushed back the enemy. The Queen watched from the command ship, amazed by the humans' bravery. She saw how her own soldiers followed Mark's orders without question. She saw how the humans risked their lives for others, not just for duty. At the battle's end, the enemy forces retreated. The Allied planet was safe. The Queen called a meeting. She stood before the soldiers and said, "Today you fought as one people. Humans, you have earned my respect and the respect of all here." Mark stepped forward. "We fight not for glory, but for peace, for all who call this galaxy home." The Queen smiled, a rare sight. "Let this be a new beginning. Humans and aliens, together." Back on the Queen's planet, the humans were welcomed as heroes. They no longer faced disdain, but honor. The Queen offered them a place as protectors and advisors. Mark accepted on behalf of his soldiers. "We will continue to serve with loyalty." Sarah and the other soldiers felt proud. Their hard work and courage had changed the Queen's heart. The Queen visited the humans' barracks. She spoke quietly to Mark. "I was wrong to judge you before. Your strength is not only in your bodies, but in your hearts." Mark nodded. "And your people have shown us honor and wisdom. Together, we are stronger." The Queen looked to the stars. "The galaxy is full of dangers, but with allies like you, I am no longer afraid." The humans and aliens prepared for future challenges. They trained, learned from each other, and built trust. The Queen's world was changing, not because of force, but because of respect. In the quiet moments, the Queen thought about the journey. From contempt to respect, from strangers to allies. The humans had surprised her, not just with strength, but with something deeper, their spirit. And the humans knew their true battle had only just begun. Peace had returned to the alien planet, but the future was still uncertain. The alien Queen stood on her balcony, looking over her city. The humans were now honored guests and protectors of her world. The change in her heart was deep. She no longer saw humans as weak or useless. Instead, she saw allies, strong and brave. Captain Mark and his soldiers had earned respect through courage, loyalty, and honor. The Queen had come to depend on them, and so had her people. The bond between human and alien grew stronger every day. But new challenges waited in the stars. The galaxy was a place of many dangers. The Queen and Mark knew that to survive, they must stand united. One morning, a scout ship arrived with urgent news. A powerful enemy fleet was moving toward their system. The Queen called her council immediately. "This is not just a raid," she said. "This fleet is large and well-armed. They want to take our worlds." Mark studied the reports. "We cannot face them alone," he said. "We must call for allies across the galaxy." The Queen nodded. "Send the call. We will prepare our defenses." The humans and aliens worked side by side. New weapons were made, ships were repaired, soldiers trained day and night. Mark stood with the Queen on the war bridge. "Our people trust us," he said. "We will not let them down." The Queen smiled. "We fight not just for this world, but for all who call it home." The battle came swiftly. Enemy ships filled the sky, firing powerful weapons. The Queen's forces fought hard. Humans and aliens worked together perfectly. The humans' courage inspired the Queen's soldiers to fight harder. During the battle, Sarah led a daring mission to disable the enemy's main weapon. Her team faced great danger, but succeeded. The Queen watched proudly as Sarah's bravery helped turn the tide. The enemy fleet retreated, defeated. The Queen's people cheered, and the humans stood tall as heroes. After the battle, the Queen held a great ceremony. She honored Captain Mark, Sarah, and all the human soldiers. "You are no longer guests," she declared. "You are part of this world. Together, we will face whatever the galaxy brings." Mark looked at the Queen with respect. "We will protect this world with all we have." The Queen's eyes shone with new warmth. "You have taught me much. Strength is more than power. It is loyalty, courage, and heart." The alliance between humans and aliens became a beacon of hope in the galaxy. Other worlds saw their unity and wished for peace. The Queen and Mark worked together to build a better future. They shared knowledge, learned from each other, and faced challenges as one. In quiet moments, the Queen remembered the day she first met the humans, how she had despised them, yet now she could not imagine her world without them. Mark thought about Earth, far away, and the journey that had brought him here. He knew that humans were more than survivors. They were warriors of hope. The story ended not with a final battle, but with a new beginning. A promise that together, humans and aliens would face the stars as friends and protectors.